Welcome everyone to the Your Little Castle show. You want to talk about making a house into a castle? That's why we brought our expert here today. This is Denise Deen. She is the owner of Detailed Designs, and she knows how to make things look fantastic. Fantabulous. That's kind of the combo word I've come up with. But let's dig in here. First, we'll shout out because you like nice things in your little castle from Carroll House, right? Where else would you get nice things? I broke out the pencil earlier because I know we're going to have a lot of use for that. Anything important we've got, we hold up the pencil and say, take note, because this is important stuff. Because you like nice things in your little castle that Denise is going to show you how to do. And we're going to show you some incredible work. She's got some of the most beautiful work out there. We were very excited that she agreed that she'd come on and share with us some of her knowledge to go over what she's an expert with and how she makes St. Louis beautiful. With that, we've got all kinds of great information in the show. She's got a great looking fan page. She's got an awesome looking website. There's the designer page. I wanted to keep that up for everybody to look at, but we've got projects. And when you really get into awesome, beautiful work, Denise makes it look awesome. Thank you for joining us, Denise.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, tell me then, as a matter of, how do you get into this? You start off, you gave me a little bit of the path, but share with everybody, if you would, how you developed and where you've got your own company. You've got big players you work with to make houses look. I saw one, we're going to show you this, but it looked beautiful. I was like, holy cow, it looks like the Taj Mahal. This is unbelievable. How'd you get started in this?
So I started when I was probably 5 years old, playing with doll houses. I didn't play with the Barbies, I played with the doll houses, and I rearranged them and changed the wallpaper, changed the furniture, changed everything, and set them up, and minus the dolls anyway. And so then after that, I had a class in high school. It was an interior design class, and from that point, I went into interior design at Carbondale, SIU Carbondale, and got my bachelor degree, and then got out in the field and worked a little bit in the industry, and then with enough experience, enough years, I ended up getting a certified in kitchen and bath design.
Okay.
So,
because I've been looking at some of the pictures. You can see some of what she's got going on here on the TV wall. I'll zoom back out. You can see everything she's got. But when you really get into like making a house look top notch, that's what her work is. I mean, we'll go through all that. She's got a great showcase page we're going to put up for everybody there too. All right. Well, then you talked about how you got into this. What is it? I mean, was it really it was designing? It's interesting you mentioned that, because like a lot of people would say, well, I wanted to play baseball because I like hitting the ball.
Yeah.
But there's very few guys that say, oh, I love baseball because I wanted to be the manager, right?
Right.
But you kind of just said, hey, I like the whole big what's going on here. The dolls are cool.
Yeah.
But you really wanted to make the whole layout for the whole Barbie house, make it happen. So that's kind of what led you here. And you've been doing this now. Denise started when she was very, very, very young.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for a long time?
36 years.
36 years. She started when she was -4. but talk about somebody who's got the experience and knows how to make everything look dynamite. That's what we bring to the table here. But with 36 years of experience, what is it that we're going to talk about what are some of the tricks of the trade that you've learned, but what do you think you really provided? What's the big advantage that somebody with your kind of experience brings to the table for?
I mean, I think the information that I've gathered through the years, and just actually listening to the client and trying to put together the thoughts and everything that they're asking me to do, and making sure it happens in their projects. So, I mean, that's the key, really, just listening to the client and listening to everything they want, and making it happen, really.
Yeah, I could say as a designer, you might be like, look, I'm the expert. I'm going to do this all make it look good. But you got to really build it. It doesn't matter what you think. It matters what they think.
Right, absolutely.
But the key, what you've learned, is you've got to help them. You got to help understand what they want, and then make it happen.
Right.
Okay.
And help gear them, because I mean, sometimes they like to go off course a little bit. So you have to make sure everything that they like all fits together.
Absolutely. Yeah. I say that when it comes down to it, then all the best ideas in the world, unless they come to fruition, is that the right word? That's a big word for me.
It's a good word.
But until they come to fruition, nothing matters.
Right.
And if it get to the end and they're like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Then you've got to make sure and
Oh,
address
yeah.
that too. But hopefully you've learned how to make sure those things don't happen
Yeah.
so often. You're feeling that out well
Right.
as you go.
Be nice. I have to be nice, but I have to be honest.
Nice. There's a tip right off the top. Nice and honest. There's a way to do both.
Yeah,
And
right.
after doing as long as you have done it, you know how to be both nice and sometimes brutally honest.
Right.
But the honest feature is key to what you're talking about.
Yep.
You sound like my mom now a little bit. You're a lot younger than her, obviously. But yeah, she would just be, this is the way it is.
Right.
And smile. And she didn't really care, but she never had to worry about it because she was always being honest with what it was. And Mom's still around helping me. We're working on some projects right now, some Airbnbs. How often do you work on Airbnb? Do you do
Yeah,
some
not
Airbnb?
very often, but
okay.
yeah, that's exciting.
Oh, well, then tell me, what is it ultimately about your business that fuels your passion? When it comes down to it, you've got to wake up every day to do this. What do you enjoy?
I love the beginning of the process where I'm gathering all the information and finding out what they want and making it happen. So I love at the very end of the project where they're coming back to me saying, this really works. I love the organization. I love where you put things. That makes me happy. That fuels my fire.
Yeah. So by the time you're done, you look at the project
Yeah.
and you say, and they go, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's everything we dreamed of.
Yeah.
You're literally,
Right.
she's literally creating everyone's castle for them. I mean,
Right.
that's got to make you feel
Yeah.
great. This is
Making
what-
it for them, the individual. So instead of designing it for anybody, it's what they've told me they want, and I make it happen.
Okay. Awesome. That's a lot. Remember, with great power
Yeah.
comes great responsibility. But she's literally got the tools and skills to make this into the dream house that people. These families have put all their life into these things.
Yeah.
Very often,
Right.
hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, and now they've got something they can really showcase and say, all of our hard work is paid off, and this is what we get to show off for it.
Right.
Okay, that would be very exciting. Well, with that, we're going to jump in a little bit here. We've got some. If you look at some of the reviews, we're always looking to see what people are saying about our guests and where they're highlighting them, where they're putting information out there to say, hey, look at what they've done. See what people have had to say. They've done some good work, and we want to let people know about it. So with that, I'm putting on the TV wall number 1. Here it is. 39 projects listed in here. 4.9. Very good. So you're making everybody happy there. Tell me though, what does it make you feel like to have those kinds of reviews and then show off these kinds of projects for people?
I mean, it's rewarding. I love what I do, so it's rewarding to see that I make people happy in their space. And every project is unique to that client, so we really study what they want and make sure it happens within the space.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can talk about some of these projects we've done recently, 2022, but this is Houzz, HOUZZ.com. But if you just do a Google search for Denise and you'll get detailed designs by Denise Deen, you'll find this kind of information out there for you. And you can really, this is some of the most beautiful work. When I saw the first couple pictures that you had up there on the Houzz website, I'm like, holy cow, what resort is that? That
Yeah.
looks a new Ledoux house there. I'm going to put that back on the screen. This is the one that caught my attention initially. There's the website, but here's this here. Yeah. Holy cow! Yeah,
we worked with a builder on that one.
Okay.
And it was fun.
Yeah, there's a dual oven. I mean, you got the vents.
A lot of green.
A lot of green. Yeah, I mean, this is where you. I mean, holy cow! This is Better Homes and Gardens on steroids. You've really outdone everybody I've seen out there. That's amazing. Okay, well, there, check it out if you want to get some more information about it. But go to the website. The website obviously is where people can. But it's easy. Denise DEEN.com. And there's a phone.
DeniseDeen.com.
I'm sorry, yeah, Denise Deen, saying Denise and then DEEN.com. So Denise and then Deen.com. Make sure, but you got it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where you can see all this beautiful work. All right. What's the one thing that you would say of all? I mean, obviously you get to do this. You have some people other people in town that do design work, etc. What is it you feel you do that really sets you apart from everyone else?
Because I am the owner of the company, I feel like you start with the owner of the company from start to finish, and I'm there to hold your hand. I make it fun and exciting, and I think that a lot of times you don't get that in the larger companies, and so we have a lot of laughing. We really kind of have a cozy studio where we pick and select and do a lot of design work. But yeah, you're one-on-one attention.
Yeah, I'll say we've had a discussion here with, and our focus obviously here is to bring on businesses owners, like the president and the founder, and also the one who maintains everything that goes on. But when you've got a project like this isn't something somebody's building, and they're going, oh yeah, well I want you to change this, and I want you to change that, and what do we do about this? Oh, I got to go back to the designer. I got to go back to the founder. I got to go back. No, they're talking right to them because you're the person who say, okay, well, let's show you what you have to do to make that change.
Right.
You can do it right there on the spot. You do 3D renderings, I saw too, as
3D.
well. So all of that adds up to where they get to see a dynamite-looking result, and they don't have to mess around with trying to figure who they're talking to.
Right.
They go right to the source.
Yeah, and a lot of times what we can do is we do have a design program or a computerized program where we can sit and tweak the drawings as we meet. And so it goes a little faster.
Well, that makes it easier too. Because everything's computerized these days, right?
Yeah.
But right there in front of them, you bring a laptop in, or you come to you've got big screens.
They usually come to our studio and we put it up on the screen.
Okay.
So yeah, and then if we want to see something a little different, a lot of times we can change it while they're there, so they don't have to wait for the next meeting. But it does make it a lot easier for the client to see that space. So yeah, it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, that's got to be a dynamite option, especially when you can render that and show it to them right there in color, right? 3D.
Yeah.
Right there, 30 seconds after they say, "Oh, what if we move the refrigerator over and put the cabinets here?"
Yep.
Okay, hold on, we'll get back. Come back next week? No, you're like literally like right now.
Yeah, we can.
And they render it right there, and you can see the result. Wow, I mean, how much time do you personally spend designing a room to start with? I mean, there's got to be.
Well.
I
mean, at first, we gather all the information. That takes a little bit. And then we try to come up with a couple concepts at the very beginning because we want to try to see if you like one part of one, part of the other. We merge them together. It opens the horizon so the client's not just tied down to one design at the beginning. So that takes, that's usually try to meet once every week or once every other week. And then after that, designing for me is easy because that's my background. I've done it for so many years.
Right.
But we usually get it pretty quick. It's just the details, like looking in what's in this drawer and what's in this cabinet. And so we organize the whole entire space depending on what they have.
But you can literally get down to this is going to be utensils. This is going to be cooking. Spices, all down to, and it can all be drawn up on the screen and see it as a 3D render. But so that's what I can imagine. So what you're really paying for here, everybody, is getting the expertise that she's got to make this happen. Because I can imagine somebody might try to do this on their own and they can do whatever, and then when they get done, they're like, oh man, that was wrong. We got to move that now. We got to uninstall that. We got to cut in over here. We got to take this and put it in a different space. They just cost themselves a whole lot by trying to do it themselves.
Right. And
you save them a lot of time. And it was interesting because I would imagine, I thought it would take something like a few hours to compile this. But once you've got the concepts from you can do it in a short period of time.
Right. Once it's on the computer, you just can go. I mean, you can switch a few things, but you just take that drawing and you move over, switch a couple things. And yeah, it's pretty, it's time consuming, but it's pretty easy once you get it on the computer.
Yeah, it's like anything. I guess once you become an expert, we're still learning how to produce TV shows here, right? But press all the buttons and make it happen, and you walk out of here and you've got a half hour spot on TV. But similar concept. I mean, you've got all the pieces that you need to put in place. I mean, they're not like they have 24-foot cabinets, right? They're all within a certain range, 24, 36, 42, I guess, whatever.
They bump up, they bump out, they bump in. They do all kinds of different things.
Okay. But you're not ever putting in a 10-foot wall. There's no cabinet.
Typically.
Giant.
No.
Right? So you've got all those. There's kind of some general, but you know how they work together, how they fit the work, and how you fit those around the refrigerator.
Right.
So you put cabinets on top of the refrigerator. All those things that you need. Where's the stove go? Does the microwave go? To me, that's where I guess I was starting. It's got to take you a few hours. But somebody like yourself,
well, you also have to research all the appliances because appliances cause problems if they don't fit properly in the cabinets.
Oh, wow.
If you're doing that. But yeah, there's a lot of things you have to research. Once you get the concept done, then you go into all the let's make it fit and work and move forward.
Okay, there it is. Take a note there, everybody. That's when you feel like you're making progress because you've got somebody say, I'll just come back here. Give me a little bit of time. Huh?
Yeah.
Say half hour. Could somebody come back the next
It could.
an hour or two later and
I mean, you
you're
could.
like, here it is.
You could.
Many times people are like, okay, I'm going to go home. They're kind of worn out. They want to take a break.
Yeah,
But you
exactly.
can say, I'll get to this. I'll finish up. And come back in whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and that's where the technology has really helped us all to
Right.
upgrade and make these changes on the fly. So
Right.
we're going to show off a little bit of that for you, so you can explain that a little more depth for everybody to understand that. What's a big mistake then? I guess we might have hit on it, but what would you say is the big mistake that people make because they're going to save money, right? Are
That's
they going
what
to do
they
it?
try.
Do people try to do this themselves?
Oh yeah, all the time. But so I mean, there are a few clients that will go out and try to purchase their own materials, which isn't this. I mean, I guess the thing is like one client of ours went and purchased a light fixture online, brought it back in, and it wasn't. I guess it was made from some other country, and it wasn't. It could not be hooked up into our type of electricity that we have here.
Are you in European outlets or something?
Exactly. And so what happened was, in order for her to return it, it cost more than the light fixture did. So it ended up where she kind of wasted her money on that. But we did find her something that worked and that looked actually probably nicer than. But I mean, you just never know what you're going to get online. I mean, online is a good place to go, but you do also have to be really careful about some of the things that you run into may not work in your space.
Okay.
Quite right.
We got another one here. This is cheap. She was trying to be a little bit cheap there. I'm going to turn the camera. Write this one down, everybody. Cheap can get very expensive.
Yes.
Is that true?
Absolutely.
And so I just got hit with one of those myself. I'll put the hat on now. We're doing good community-based stuff to make a difference here, so that's when we put the hat on. But I went online, and they use the same professional high-end pictures for a cowboy hat.
Okay.
This is where I can imagine this happens to people buying fixtures,
Right.
etc. And I said, oh, that's exactly the same hat. You looked at it close. There was no edge stitched on that had some kind of thing to hold it together. And I get it shipped. I'm like, $58. That's like half or a quarter of the price these hats normally cost. And I get it in the packaging. I'm like, that thing's kind of cramped. What could that be? Oh, it's two cowboy hats they fit in there. And it had a little plastic border around the edge. It looked like it might be the same one on the pictures on the website. Well, it wasn't even. And I got taken. And so
Right.
how often do they have that kind of problem where they're going, oh, I know what I need. I've got it right here. And then, that's not what they need.
Nope.
Don't waste your time.
Right.
That's one of the biggest mistakes.
It kind of delays the project too.
Okay.
So.
Don't want to delay your project because then you're costing yourself. Time is money, especially when you're talking to contractors.
Yeah,
They can say, okay, you're not going to do it this week. Well, we'll do it the week after.
Yeah.
No, we were going to do, yours was going to be done here, and then we got somebody else scheduled,
Right.
and then somebody else.
Right.
And now they're 3-4 weeks out.
Right.
Somewhere. And then you start talking about whether people can go start their business or go to work and all the stuff that goes along
it's
with it.
crazy.
Okay. Well, again, that's why you want to work with a professional like Denise here. Tell me then a time when you had a client that was in a tough situation, and you thought about it, you're like, you know what, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to really help you out here, and just time when you felt like you really did help somebody.
So
that
I
they
mean,
were stuck.
I said this to you before. I help everyone, so I really feel like I help everyone. But I think there's been a couple times where they've had an illness, and we've made an area ADA so that they can live in that space for a little bit. And then elderly, I've helped a few elderlies downsize from what they're used to living into and taking some of the furniture and their space and downsizing into a retirement home. So I feel like I help those people too, because they don't really have a place to go sometimes. And so it makes me feel good to do that.
Yeah, I can imagine. I dealt with that a little bit myself. The ADA, I mean, when you're talking about, my dad had a stroke, and so then he was in a chair, and then you got to make everything wheelchair accessible. And then also when they're not in the chair, like when he sat in the shower, we had to put up these big arm bar things that help people to, ADA, it stands for American, Disabled American.
Yeah.
Did you understand it? But the point is that they made it so that they could accessible, I guess is one of the words. And so and so when you're trying to make things like this accessible for everybody, there's some extra contemplation you've got to go there with, because how often is it, well, we could have put the faucet there, but now that rail's going to get in the way. And so we have to re-measure everything and move it over.
So many inches to turn, you have so many requirements for its locations of grab bars, requirements for handicap turning the wheelchair. There's a lot of different rules that you have to follow in those things.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And those guidelines are there for a reason,
Yep.
and you have an expert that obviously knows how to handle that. But I want to go back then as a matter of how often then every one of these, you said there's not any two of these that are the same, right? Everybody's design is unique. How customized do people make these? Is it a matter of,
Oh my gosh.
even if you've got the same kind of hardware, cabinets, countertops, appliances, they're still going to get put together differently based on how that kitchen is laid out.
Yeah, I mean, down to a little molding detail on an island. I mean, there's so many different things because usually what they do is they come to us with a pile of Pinterest ideas or pictures
Pinterest.
from a magazine or whatever it is, and they like this part and this part and this part, and we're trying to gather all that stuff and put it and make it look right in a design. So it's challenging, and that's what I think I like about my profession.
Okay, yeah, because I can imagine it as a matter of when you've got 12 different pieces that come from 8 different companies, how do you match those up to make, and they probably don't even have the color scheme matching, right?
Oh,
whatever
I mean, not usually.
from what
but
they're bringing you. So how do you put those together? How do you make it all color match? You've got to know your vendors really well.
Well, I mean, so one of my sayings is simple's better.
Right.
So we try to, you have, first of all, you bring it together, and then you start bringing out the Sherwin-Williams or the different paint swatches, depending on what they want to do. Sometimes it's stain, sometimes it's paint. And we'll just, you make sure that it all fits together. And then we do have a custom cabinet line that can match anything.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we have other cabinet lines, well, actually a couple different custom cabinet lines, but we try to make sure we get all the materials together, and usually with the help of myself, and I have an assistant who's also an interior designer, it will look awesome at the end.
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into understanding how to match things up to make them look right.
Right.
I can imagine, I'm picturing somebody coming in with a stack of Pinterest pictures. They printed them out, so maybe they're at least on paper, but they're taking all these together and they're saying, I want this to go over here, and they don't even go together, but
Right.
you will make them, you'll find something, and you can having a custom cabinet maker, that's got to help out a lot
Oh,
too.
yeah,
because
absolutely.
Tell me what the real benefits, how cool is to have a custom cabinet maker?
I mean, I can draw anything and he can build it, so that's what's great about that. So, yeah, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, if you can think it, Denise can make it happen
can.
because you get a custom build and you send it off your cabinet guys and
Yeah.
they say, okay, we got to cut the angle down here, fit this over
Right.
there, and make these things turn this way. But with all of what you can put together, you'll make that happen.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go over here a little bit on the website. We've got about 6 minutes left here, and share a little bit about what we've got going on here. But as a matter of getting a project done, lots of great information here, obviously, that you make it easy for people. So if you look, there's your Facebook page, and then if you look here is the website, but easy to navigate. You've got a lot of good information. That's why I saw you've got here 3D rendering, basement design, bathrooms. So it's not just kitchens, obviously, bathrooms,
everywhere.
custom bathrooms, vanities, cabinet doors, everywhere. And you've got a whole, the entire St. Louis area is where you pretty much follow with it. And what I saw was, I think I even put a separate tab up for it, but let's take a look here. Yeah. Free in-home project consultation, and you have this process that you've got worked out. Is it 5 steps?
Yes.
What are the steps that people follow here? And I'm going to get into, am I on the right page?
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, I'm going to go
It's down.
Down,
And it's the circles.
the circles. There they are. So there's these steps everybody's got. Tell me about these steps and why these are important, what you're doing here.
So, I mean, our first step is, well, once we get the phone call, we go out and we do, which a lot of people don't, a 1-hour free consultation. And so that just kind of helps us with if we're a match, if, just to kind of get the information that we need in order to know, is this something that they want to do? Is it something that we can do? And so the free consultation, which I feel like I give a little bit of my time just to see, to help them know if they like me, really.
Sure.
and I like them, I guess. But so that's our first step. The second step, and once we just determine that we are going to go forward, we do design in the, gather the information, planning, space planning, organizing, and all of that. That's step 2.
Okay.
And that may take a couple, 2, 3, 4, it depends on how quickly the designer or the client wants to make decisions or how often they can meet, and that's step 2. And step 3, that's selecting. Once we get the design done, we select the materials,
Okay.
coordinate the colors and different things. And that can go as quickly as the client wants. And then step 4 is basically signing. Is that right?
Here it is.
Yeah.
Installation.
Oh, it's the contractor. So we're working with contractors, getting them to price your space, the plan, making sure we don't need an engineer. Whatever we did, and we may have removed a wall, and we have to get those guys out there to see if we need to do anything to the structure. And that's the step 4. And step 5 is the one where we have everything decided, the costs are all out there, and we're signing the contract, and we're ready to go to create a great space for you.
Okay. Well, it's like, everything I learned at Anheuser-Busch, they were very adamant that everything had to have a process. You had steps that were outlined, and it could be easily duplicatable.
Right.
And so that you've got those steps all outlined for yourself, and then every client comes in, they get the same treatment. They're going to go through the same process, so that you know at the end they're going to get the same result.
Right.
And be very happy and give you another great 5-star review.
Right.
Wow. Okay. So that's what we like to see, and these are some of the tips. Again, you may not be a designer. Maybe you're going to be a deck builder, or you might even start your own counseling company. But you need to have these steps in order to make sure that you have a process.
Get your pencil out.
Get the pencil. There she is. Denise, I'll let you hold. Take the pencil. Now, make a process, right? Denise has a process here that she follows to make sure that this all gets done correctly.
Right.
There's no steps missed. You can even reference it and say, yep, there we got that all covered. And that makes it easy for everybody so they know. And that's what I'm going to get back to. I was scrolling down there. Holy cow. Look at these pictures on the wall, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to put these up for everybody to take a look at. And more incredible work here that you can see that Denise has put together. And it's just, this is what you can expect if you have that process nailed down and you can put together the work like she has done here so many times. I can only imagine, holy cow, these all look like the Taj Mahal. They look unbelievable. And she's just got the whole process nailed down. Okay, well, we've covered a lot here, and this is the first half hour. I talked to Denise, and we decided we're going to have 2 half hours. So the second half hour, follow up. You might be seeing this on Thursday night, and then Friday night will be her second show. We might even put her on Saturday night. I think we might have to do that. But follow up with Denise and check out the second interview, because it's going to share with you so much more information about what it is to make sure that your big investment here. You don't want to mess this up, right? You want to make sure that you get this done right the first time, because to redo one of these things costs you another who knows how much, right? And you don't want to have to get these things done twice. So stay tuned for that second show. Are you ready? We'll take a little break here, and we'll be back we'll record everything else that she needs to cover for making this all come together. All right? Stay tuned for more, everybody. Giddy up.